Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 20 of Project Ozone 3. Let's start today off by seeing how our farm has been going. So we have, about 4,000 of each of the landcraft ingots. 4,000-ish. Ignore the landium ingots, these came from the landlords we summoned earlier. So it's been about a day. 4,000 a day is, it's not bad, but it's like 2 orders of magnitude, 100 times less than how many I think we're going to need, right? Because if we look at essences, so yeah, Prudentium essence takes 4 Friscon. And if we just look at Friscon, um, let's see, Intermedium takes 4, so that's 16, 64, 256. It takes 1,000 Friscon to make a single Supremium essence. Now that said, we don't necessarily need to make that much Supremium because we have some of it from farming wither skeletons. So I guess it's more like Superium that we need it for. But point is still, each Superium is 256, right? We can't make very much with this. So I'm thinking we're going to need to increase our production of these ingots even further. So let's take a look at how we can do that. There's basically only one way to make these, and that is, well, for now, there's basically only one way to make these, and that is to get the ore. Later on, there's tricks we can do with like the solid block form once we have a staff of animation, and it does not have an EMC value, so we cannot generate it with that, but that's fine. So how do we get the ore? Well, I didn't think of this. One thing we could do, we could make an orchid and have it generate it, but even this is, I think, pretty slow. I want to dig it out of the ground, and to do that, the best quarry in this version of Minecraft, in my opinion, is the RF Tools Builder. So the RF Tools Builder takes a little bit more infrastructure to get there. Let's see, the Mechanism Energy Cube requires, actually this is just very basic mechanism. So we have to, dip our toes in mechanism to make this, and we have to do a bit more in mechanism to make tin crystals. It's actually a pretty complicated process. I think this is like almost the very end of the ore like 5x yield system and mechanism, right? So we need clear slurry, which is made from regular slurry, which we need sulfuric acid for, which we need, sulfur trioxide. It's a bunch of chemistry. I did notice there's another recipe though. The crystallization recipe in Abyssalcraft. This looks like a much easier recipe, doesn't it? I wonder, what did it take to get a crystallizer? Tritium? That's what, the third? Let's check the quest book. I think that's the third dimension in Abyssalcraft. Let's see. Yeah, so we have to get to the dreaded gateway. Oh, maybe that's even just the first dimension. You know what? It's been a while since I've actually gone deep into Abyssalcraft. I'm not a huge fan of this mod, but we've been doing tech things for a couple episodes, right? Why don't we shift gears, actually? I wasn't planning on doing this when I started recording 5 minutes ago, but let's go ahead and do a little Abyssalcraft. As we go, I'll talk about the things in the mod that make me dislike it a little bit, but let's give it an honest goodness, try. It's been over a year since I've done it. So anyways, instead of ranting, let's get started. Step 1 is to build a Necronomicon. This is both your documentation book, and it's honestly not a half bad documentation book, and it's like a battery for the mod. So, all right, now that we have our book, I think we have to start by doing this half of the quest, and we work left to right. So the first task that they have you do is super annoying. You have to spawn in Lether Shoggoths, and if you remember in my whatchamacallit playthrough, that other mod pack I did, this is very annoying because those mobs like eat through anything, and they're just generally unpleasant. They poop everywhere, but we can thankfully create this biomass and it'll spawn them. So our goal is to spawn the Shoggoths in, and afterwards get them to poop out their various statues. So as I said, they're very destructive. So I'd like to not do it in the overworld. Which dimension shall we sacrifice? How about which dimension is the least laggy? Landia's not very laggy. Let's sacrifice Landia. Sorry, Landia. So all you have to do is place the Shoggoth biomass somewhere, and I think it'll just slowly start spawning Shoggoth. You might have to, I think it follows regular spawn rules, so like you don't want to be too close to it, but you can't be too far away from it, yada yada yada. I also switched our flight, at least for now, over to the Landon's Master Wings. The big difference is these take 100 RF a tick to fly, and this takes 8,000 RF a tick to fly. So I think we'll be here a while, and I don't want to run out of energy and, you know, plummet to the ground halfway through. Anyways, start spawning already. I feel like I do more damage with the wings on too. Maybe I'm just crazy. Oh look, there's one. So this seems like an absolutely terrible idea, but these guys spawn so darn slowly, and I think we need like 6 or more of them for them to start making statues, that I'm going to try to make a spawner and see if we can get them to spawn in a little bit quicker. Well, perhaps against my better judgment, let's go turn this on. Just gonna drop a capacitor in, and there it goes. So I'm hoping the block itself doesn't get griefed by all the Shoggoths spawning around, but once we get enough of these guys roaming around here, I think we should see them start to put up these statues, and whoa, we get little baby ones. Hey. Anyways, oh, look at that cute little guy. Look at you, little adorable little asshole pooping everywhere. Alright, that should be enough. Let's go turn that spawner off. The lever got griefed. Alright, there we go. So hopefully, if we just hang out here a little bit, they'll start spawning statues. And when they do, I'll show you what those look like. I'm not quite sure what these guys are doing. It's like they're trying to attack something. Like that one's trying to attack me. But I don't know what the rest of these are doing. They're kind of just like dancing. And there's another group of them doing that here. And I think this might be breaking their AI and making them not spawn statues. So I don't know if that's a side effect of them being like spawner spawned as opposed to biomass spawn. So maybe I'll just make a bit more of the biomass and let them spawn in naturally. Honestly, this is one of those steps that's a little annoying, but before we get a few, we don't need every statue, thankfully, but before we get at least 1 or 2 of them, there's really nothing we can do in Abyssalcraft. So it's been a little while, and I still haven't gotten a single statue to spawn. So I went, read the book just to make sure I'm not doing things terribly wrong. It says, if 6 or more lesser Shoggoths are within 32 blocks of one another, one is prone to rise a monolith out of the ooze. So we'd have way more than 6, and they're within 32 blocks of each other, which means, they should be spawning the thing. Doing things slightly differently, this time I put a bunch of monoliths, or of these biomasses down. I think there's like 6 of them in this little area, and I'm hoping that maybe by having way more than 6 lesser Shoggoths, we can hopefully get them to make their stupid monolith, but I'm somewhat at my wit's end here, so I'm hoping it happens soon. We did it! We got our first statue. Maybe it was just sensitive to the dimension it was in, and it didn't want to build them in the Landia dimension. So, I don't know. I built basically this mostly obsidian box. Actually, I built it initially out of cobblestone, and then when I realized they're breaking the cobblestone, I swapped most of it out for obsidian. But I think the trick is you have to spawn a bunch of them, and then you have to get them to de-aggro you, because they don't seem to spawn the pillars while they're aggroed you. So for me to do that, I dash under the platform, and I think that's usually enough to get them to de-aggro me. I found that if I just fly too far up, they despawn, which isn't what we want. So now that they're not aggroed on me, at least I don't think they are, I think there's a decent chance they'll put up another statue soon. Yep, just like that. Neat. So I'm going to do this, get a handful. If it's reasonably quick, which it seems to be, I might go for all of them. But yeah, so I guess the trick is, well, the way I would do it if I had to, start from scratch again is start with a, big obsidian block or box, put a handful of the biomasses in them, and then just let them do their things. Cool. Well, that sucks. One of the Shogoths like one-shot me. Um, Yikes. Well, I guess good news is we have more wings, right? So we can thankfully still be able to... Can I fly? Oh, I have to wear it. Thankfully we can fly back and get our stuff, but don't underestimate the damage they do. It literally hit me once and I was at full health and then I was dead. So of all the statues, we've now got 5 different ones, and I think there's 7 total. There's 2 we don't have yet. Technically, you don't need one of each. In fact, there's practically no benefit to having one of each, with the exception that without getting one of each, the quest book, doesn't continue. So, yeah, we just have to wait until... Well, we don't have to, but I'm going to, stay here a little bit longer and try to get the last 2 statues. Finally, after much waiting, we got the 7th statue. So now that we have all 7, we can use any number of them to charge our book. So to do so, we need a energy pedestal and a couple of these pillars. I think it's 2 per statue. Anyways, I got a bunch of monolith stone in the process. So this should be pretty easy to make. Now, as it says here, it has some weird effects when charging. It will sometimes spawn mobs. The mobs it spawns includes potentially those Shogoths that poop everywhere. So what that means is we want to put that, we want to put this somewhere disconnected from our base. So let's build it, and then I'm thinking we'll put it, I don't know, like a couple hundred blocks. I guess we'll put it over with our Shogoth spawning area. We'll put it, 500-ish blocks that way. So to charge your Necronomicon, you start by placing the energy pedestal down, and in a 2-block radius around it. So I think it's, you gotta check the block. Is it 2 aired blocks, or is it 2 blocks total? 2-block gap between it and the statue. You want to put, you can directly put your statues, but I think you can also put the statues atop a 2-block pillar of these monolith stone pillars. And I think that it definitely gives it more range, but I think it also allows the rituals to run faster. So I think it doesn't matter if you have multiples of the same or different statues. They all work the same. So if you have a book in your hand, it preferentially charges the one in your hand. If not, it'll charge the one in the energy pedestal. So I have all these statues, so we may as well put them to use. So having placed all our statues down now, we can see we're getting a lot more little zappy beams, both to the book and to the pedestal. So now I made 2 books just so I could always have one charging on the pedestal while using the other one, both to read and to use for various crafting. So now that we have the book charging, I think we can start making, let's see, ritual charms. Can be used to amplify like the statue effects, so we can make it charge faster or have more range, or I'm not quite sure what duration it is. But before we can do that, we can let's see. Before we can go around to rituals, we need. Well, we don't need this. So the sacrificial altar, I guess, is just another way to generate potential energy. Instead of being fully passive like this, we have to kill mobs around it. So I'll build one of those just to complete the quest, I guess. Uh-oh, hopefully, there we go. Alright, so that's the quest done. Now, the next is the altar. Wait, what is this for? 1 second. I think this is for the rituals, but I could be mistaken. Alright, so I'm not quite sure what the altars are for, but we don't need them yet, I think. So I'll just leave it be for the time being. Remember, our goal is to get into the Dreadium dimension, or the Dreadlands dimension, I think is what it's called. Let's work down this quest line here, and then work this way. So first, I just need to complete that quest. There we go. Now, all right, this is telling us, I think, to read the ritual section in the Necronomicon, and it wants us to make a transmutation gem. All right, so the way rituals work is we have to start by building the ritual altar, which is actually, for now, just made out of cobblestone. Let's see, rituals, information, getting started. So we have to place cobblestone in this pattern, and then I think right-click the center block with our Necronomicon, and it becomes a ritual altar. So I see no reason not to do our rituals over here, I guess. So let's extend out this platform a little bit, and I'll set up a ritual altar. So I think this is the pattern that was shown in the book, and then we just maybe shift right-click the center block with the Necronomicon. There we go. And they turn into these ritual pedestals. I think if you try to pick them up, they just revert back to cobblestone. So don't do that. And since I broke it, I have to fix this again. Is that enough? Nope, I have to break it all. All right, 1 second. So the first thing I want to make in our ritual altar is the transmutation gem. The recipe is like this, and let's see. So the key things to take a look at: location, anywhere. That means it can be done in any dimension. Some of these rituals have to be done in specific dimensions, like this. You know, it has to be done in the Dreadlands dimension, for instance. Required energy 300 PE, so we have to make sure our book has at least 300 PE in it, which it does. And some of these rituals, let's see, how do I? When that happens, I just have to make sure it doesn't spawn a Shogoth, because if it does, it can kill me. Anyways, some of these say sacrifice required, like this. And if it requires a sacrifice, you just have to kill a mob nearby. So that's it. Let's make our transmutation gem. The order of the items on the pedestals don't matter. It just says, you know, the one in the middle has to be in the middle. So it's 1 of these, 4 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. And then you just shift right click the center to get it started. In the process, it'll drain our Necronomicon of the energy in it. Then P stands for like potential energy, and produce the item in the end. So our first transmutation gem. Now these can be used up to 10 times each. So they're partially but not fully consumed when you craft with them. Anyways, I have the materials for a second one on me. So let's swap books and make a second one. While that crafts, let's look at what's next. So Shard of Oblivion, Oblivion Catalyst, and Gateway Key. I think these are just more intermediate crafting steps to get to the Gateway Key. Gateway Key. So yeah, we have a few more intermediate crafting steps to get to the Gateway Key. The Gateway Key is how we get to the first of the Abyssalcraft dimensions. So the next thing we have to craft are these Shards of Oblivion. They use these unstable ingots, which we've used before, but previously we used the this version, right? The unstable version, which is this recipe. What you can actually do is just use iron nuggets instead of iron ingots, and you get these stable nuggets, which you can make into a stable ingot. It's you know, you can use these in place of the unstable ones in crafting. It's just that you use 9 times as many diamonds in the process. Of course, the upside is you no longer have that whole explodey business, right? So because diamonds are no longer a limited resource, let's make 9 stacks of this, and we'll just make a stack of stable ingots. Much safer. These will not explode on us, and we can use those to make our Shards of Oblivion. So we need to make at least 1 Oblivion Catalyst for now, which takes 4 shards. So each time you craft, you use 1 durability on your transmutation gem, which is good for 10 crafts each. All right, so there's those. Lastly, the ritual for the Oblivion Catalyst takes 5,000 PE and a sacrifice. I don't think our books quite charge that much, but let's grab the sacrifice for now. I think any passive mob will do, or maybe any mob will do at all. So sorry, sheep. Anyways, it's going to take maybe another 20-30 minutes for our other book to charge, you know, up to 5,000. And And I guess in the meantime, let's see if I can figure out something else to do. Alright, to speed up this charging process, I think we want to create some ritual charms of power. So this recipe is quite simple. We just have to, do the ritual a few times, and then once we have them, we can apply them to the statues, which will make them create more potential energy with each pulse. So with our ritual charms of power, I think all we have to do is right-click them onto these various statues, and then that will empower them. I only made 8, and I have a lot more than 8 statues, so I'm semi-randomly choosing which ones get it. And you see the ones that are empowered, I guess, have a little like light beam effect, showing that they are empowered. So anyways, that'll charge our Necronomicon a little faster. Let's see how this one is doing. 2,000. That should reach the 5,000 we need in short order. Ooh, it's really scary when those spawn because again, their melee attacks literally one-hit me. So we can't quite make the Oblivion Catalyst. Let's see what we can do until that. Oh right, why were we doing all this in the first place? We were doing this so that we could make the tin crystals, right? What were the tin crystals for? We've been working on this project for so long that I've lost track of the original goal. Right, the builder. So the other thing we need to build this is we need these, mechanism energy tablets and I guess that's it, right? Energy tablets and enriched alloys. So enriched alloy is made in a metallurgic infuser, so we have to make one of those. And these just take more enriched alloy. All right, so let's see what this entails. It doesn't look too bad. I think we can craft it. So let's make ourselves a metallurgic infuser and get started in mechanism while our tablet charges. All right, with our metallurgic infuser, we're ready to now make the advanced energy cube. So let's count how many enriched alloys these take. Normally, I'm the type, if I need one, I may as well make a stack, right? But enriched alloys use our precious capacitors. So I'm not really in any situation where I'm able to, spare a lot of these. So we need one advanced energy cube, that's 4 enriched alloys, and 4 energy tablets, which are 2 each. So 4 times 2 plus 4, 12. I hope we have 12 spare capacitors. 34 left. Ooh, thank goodness. So the recipe for enriched alloy is 1 capacitor and 20 units of redstone. It's kind of arbitrary what a unit is, but 1 redstone dust I think is 10. And one of these compressed redstones, which is really a redstone dust put through an enrichment chamber, counts for 80, I believe. But since we don't have an enrichment chamber yet, yeah, we'll just have to use redstone dust. So think it's kind of like an alloy smelter or a induction furnace type thing. 2 inputs make 1 output. But once these are done, just a little bit of crafting. All right, here's our energy cube. Now these are also usable standalone. They're basically the energy cells, but I think they can be upgraded higher. So like the advanced one holds 80 million. Maybe there aren't higher tiers? Yeah, there are. Okay. Oh, they're just not recursive, I guess. So the elite... No, it is. It is recursive. Anyways, the elite one holds 320 million, and the ultimate tier, which is the highest tier, holds 1.2 billion. I think 1.3 billion RF. So anyways, let's check on the status of our other Necronomicon, see if it's fully charged. And it's fully charged. Cool. So we'll put our uncharged Necronomicon in there to charge while we go craft the Oblivion Catalyst, which requires an Eye of Ender. And I think we have everything else, right? Redstone. And our sacrifice will be a sheep, which we just have to kill. Sorry, sheep. And this might take a while because it has to... Oh no, I drained it pretty quickly. Alright, so there's our Oblivion Catalyst. First of many. I actually wonder if these are reusable. But let's go ahead and craft that gateway key now. Woohoo, quest complete. So with this, I think all we have to do is right click it somewhere and it'll form a portal. It's like another portal shaped portal. So, I mean, may as well put it with the rest of our portals, right? As far as I know, mobs don't spawn out of it like the nether portal. I hope. I mean, this is where all our other portals have been. It's one tile off. I think I can just move it. Did I click last time here? Perfect. Alright, so with this we can head into the wasteland dimension. But first, let's make a staff of rending. I'll just do this crafting off camera because I think this episode's already dragging on enough with crafting. So the staff of rending is used to make these, let's see, these essences, which are used to upgrade your Necronomicons. So with our staff of rending in hand, I think we're ready to visit the Abyssal wasteland. I think that's what it's called. So you just step in the portal. Alright, and here we are in the Abyssal wasteland. It is a very gloomy looking place. As always, set your input portal first before you do anything. And you probably don't want to stand in liquid corallium. So I think what you want to do, first of all, there are some pretty nasty mobs in here. Evokers, those are the vanilla evokers, but and vindicators, which I guess are also vanilla mobs, but they do drop totems of undying. I am actually a rather big fan of that because I like to not die. So anyways, our goal is to take our staff of rending, and this part kind of sucks. We have to hit the zombies here. Let me find one. These abyss zombies. I think it's right click to rend them, and it gives us 1 energy each. So we kind of just do this for a while. And it has a fair amount of range, but our goal is to fill up the staff of rending with Abyssal Wasteland energy. So what is this? I'm planning on probably just spending some time clicking stuff. This is one of the parts of the mod I dislike the most. Why make me click a mob 100 times? Like, is it 5 enough? Maybe 10? That said, the higher tier stabs, let me fly a little higher so I'm not getting shot at here. The higher tier stabs do get more energy per click. So, in fact, we can probably upgrade our staff to the... Oh no, we can't. We need the Abyss Wasteland Necronomicon before we can upgrade the tier of the staff. So, I'm going to spend some time clicking mobs, and I think it has to be... I guess the depth school works too, but it has to be these Abyssalcraft mobs. So I'll be back when I'm almost at 100. Alright, there's something weird going on. I'm gonna try letting one of these hit me again. Last time when it hit me, it one-shot me, and it popped my Totem of Undying, which is unexpected considering they're just a little, sprite. I know they hit pretty hard, but I don't know why I'm getting one-shot by all these mobs that, by all accounts, should not one-shot me. No, that didn't do it. I don't know what popped my Totem of Undying earlier then. Maybe one of these guys hit me? I know these guys also hit hard. Yeah. Wow. Alright, so I gotta be really careful. Even with armor, like, just regular Vindicators are one-shotting me. That's crazy. Alright, I've popped a couple more Totems of Undying on accident. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but our staff is now at 95 energy. So if I just click 5 more times, I realize the range is actually quite high, so I don't have to get all that close to things. That's 100. I think the next click should give me an item. There we go. So that gives me a Wasteland Essence with, let's see, what do I need to do? Let's first fly out of those arrow range. So I think this is a crafting component. When we get 3 more of them, we can upgrade our Necronomicon to the Abyssal Wasteland tier. So, yeah. We've clicked a mob 100 times, now we have to do it 300 times. Isn't this fun and exciting? Alright, we've got our essences, and I think we can now upgrade our book. So the upgraded Abyssalcraft holds, let's see, it holds 10k potential energy. So let's go start by charging that. And it can be used to do more rituals. It can be used to do the rituals that the basic tier book cannot. Now, I'm still trying to figure out why I'm getting one-shot by all the mobs, and I think I know what it is. So there is this mod in this pack called the Epic Siege mod. And one of its settings, let's see, is it here? Per boss kill? Yeah, let's read the tooltip. So yeah, the factor by which mob health and damage will be increased when bosses are killed. Basically, each time you kill a boss mob, damage, I think. For some reason, I don't think it affects their health, but their damage is being increased by 0.6%. Now, that's not really a big deal because, we've only killed like 10 withers or something, right? But I think the way that Woot generates its loot tables is it actually just spawns like 1,000 of the mob and kills 1,000 of the mob. And it's like, all right, out of this 1,000, I got this many drops. And that's how it determines how many like the drop percentages here. And I think that is what's causing all these basic mobs that normally aren't that scary to one-shot me, because they're getting the extra damage applied to them. Like, I'm kind of curious, will a normal skeleton one-shot me at this point? Let's go check. That's not the hunting dimension. All right, let's start with a slime. So if all mobs though are doing this much damage, I'm not. No, he's doing normal damage, right? He's like only the. What about let's check a skeleton. Maybe it's just Abyssalcraft mobs. All right, yeah, that's normal damage. Spider. So maybe it's only Abyssalcraft mobs that are hitting me crazy hard. Hello, spider. My shoes broke, but that's not unreasonable damage. Alright, so I guess that maybe isn't it. I don't know. I want to get to the bottom of why I'm popping these totems of undying left, right, and center. Well, I suppose the next thing we could do to try to survive more is by making these heart canisters. And I think I see no reason why we shouldn't be able to make all the way up to blue tier. So if we make red, yellow, green, and blue heart canisters, remember we just started getting blue hearts dropping from evokers, so we can get up to 40 more hearts, and in so doing, we have 20. That'll increase our effective HP 3 times over, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep us alive. The only tricky thing is the canister requires an anti-bone, and I believe that's dropped by anti-mobs, which are mobs that have been touched by antimatter. So let's go and make ourselves a bucket of antimatter. So I think antimatter generates on one of the Abyssalcraft dimensions, but I can't honestly recall which one. However, there's a kind of sneaky recipe in it here. You can make a florb, or I guess the fluid orb, of liquid antimatter in a pressure chamber. So all we have to do is toss these in, and that should create our antimatter florb. Now, once we have it, we can either, I think we can throw it like a antimatter balloon, and that'll go create a bucket of it. We do have to be very careful not to touch it, because if you touch it, it will kill you. And I think you have to be careful with what it touches too. So I'm going to, let's see. Let's go do this in the hunting dimension. All right, so mobs that touch the antimatter become anti-mobs. And then mobs that, if you have an anti-mob touch a regular mob, I think they explode. So you want to definitely avoid that. So yeah, there's a anti-zombie. Let's see if we can get him to touch a zombie just for, science. Maybe? There we go. They explode. So yeah, you want to avoid that. Anyways, our goal is to get some of the anti-bones. So that's anti-flesh. We're having a lot of explosions. I wonder, can I just throw regular bones into antimatter? Does that turn into an anti-bone? No, that seems to just get rid of it, huh? Alright, anyways, I'm gonna, kill some mobs for a bit and try to get some of these anti-bones. Alright, it was proving difficult enough to get anti-skeletons that I just made a Woot controller for it. So we can briefly, anyways, swap it out, and we should be able to observe that it drops anti-bones. Oh, we should get the anti-bones we need in no time, right? 6 per 80 ticks. So I'm gonna let this run for like a minute, and then we can craft our heart containers. All right, 2.5 stacks of anti-bones later, and I switched our mob farm back over to Big Brother. So first we have to craft this heart amulet. This is what actually holds the hearts, and then we have to craft. We need 10 of each, but I think the yellow, each tier consumes the previous tier, so we need 40 reds, 30 yellows, 20 greens, 10 blues. So it's just a bunch of crafting, so I'll see when that's done. So it seems we're a little short on green hearts. I have just the one. I took a look around. There's no crafting recipe for them. I think they only drop from the Ender Dragon. So I'm planning on going to resummon the Ender Dragon and make a root farm out of him as well. Turn to me. Jeez, that's loud. I apologize for your ears. But now that we have True Flight, this dragon fight should be quite easy. Not that it was particularly difficult the first time around. I'm probably just gonna cut to the end. Pew, 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 pew. Goodbye, dragon. And that's fully programmed. Alright, I'm gonna collect the loot and then head back. Alright, let's drop it in place. So I expect this might take a fair amount of energy. Oh, right, and it takes 4 end crystals per. So let's go supply it with some. Thankfully, it does produce green hearts. 20 green hearts, thanks to our trusty wood farm. And let's upgrade. Let's see, 20 of these. And upgrade 10 of these to blue tier. And all that's left is to put the hearts into the heart whoopsies. I think you shift right click to open it, and then you just put your hearts in. You wear it, and now we have purple hearts. So yeah, now we have a lot of hearts. Let's really quick go test and see if we still get one shot by things. So grab one of our totems just in case, insurance policy. Alright, here we go. We have 60 hearts. I mean, that has got to be enough, right? Hit me. Yeah, we survived a hit. That did like 25, 30 hearts of damage. But we survived it. Alright, let's see if we can survive a hit from a Vindicator. I kind of want to kill the other stuff first, but hit me. Oh, that hurts so bad. Alright, cool. But point is we live. Another thing that can help with the living front is the resistance ability. I think each tier of resistance is 20% damage reduction. So I wonder how many we can get. Let's see, we need more EXP to put it on. I've come to this drawer enough times that despite not having the picture, I know that one's the EXP drawer. So we can have up to 3 levels of resistance from the everlasting abilities. So it costs 200 rack each. That's 600 rack, but that's also 60% damage reduction, which I am on board for. So I think having just the one, right, provides, just resistance 1. Anyways, the quest refreshes every now and then, so I'll turn it in 2 more times when it comes up. So anyways, I think this, I took a look at a recording time for this episode, and we are basically, at the usual wrapping up point. Sorry we didn't quite complete our goal, right? That was to make the builder, but I think we're getting pretty close. The only thing left is we have to get one more dimension in here, right? We have to get to the dreaded gateway key, and we can get the cobblestone from that dimension, so that we can make ourselves a crystallizer. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got a taste of Abyssalcraft. I'm not a huge fan of the mod, but hey, it's here. We got to do it, so we got to do it. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.